A little girl was watching her mother baking in the kitchen. "Mummy, where's God?" "My dear, he's everywhere." "Mummy, is he in this glass?" The little girl picked up a glass and looked at it. "Yes, dear." After a pause, the girl clapped her hand over the mouth of the glass and shouted in triumph, "Got him!" Gerard Hughes, the author of God of Surprises, talks too about how we tend to restrict God to a cupboard, to be brought out on special occasions like going to church or talking to one's child about Christmas. Once the event is over, God can nicely and conveniently be popped back inside and cause no more trouble. This is a God who is kept hidden, out of sight, uninvolved in the world. Or at least that's what people think and perhaps want. But there are others who think differently. We at Journeying share this alternative approach which sees God in all things and in all places because they are all part of His creation. Towns, villages, poverty, wealth, black, white, in Parliament, prisons, schools, shops, factories, noisy places. God is also present in places of quietness, and for many, God is found amongst flowers in a garden. And Dorothy Frances Gurney wrote these well-known lines:
"The kiss of sun for pardon, the song of the birds for mirth. One is nearer God's heart in a garden than anywhere else on earth."
God is in wild places, in hills, river, shore, island, moor, in wild weather and in calm. And Journeying sees a great truth in the Celtic people's view that God reveals Himself in two books, the Bible and the big book of creation. Indeed, Columbanus wrote a rather challenging statement. If you want to know the Creator, understand created things. Jesus also emphasized another dimension, that God is in all of us. And although as Christians our allotted task is to preach the gospel, we also need to discern God in each other, in ourselves and in the natural world. And be aware of the many different ways God expresses and reveals Himself. A poem by an unknown writer expresses this so well. The man whispered, "God, speak to me." And a skylark sang, but the man did not hear. And the man groaned, "God, speak to me." And thunder rolled across the sky, but the man didn't listen. The man looked around and yelled, "God, let me see you." And a star shone brightly, but the man didn't notice. So the man shouted at the top of his voice, "God, show me a miracle." A child was born, but the man didn't know. So the man cried out in final despair, "Touch me, God, let me know you're here." So God reached down and touched the man, but the man brushed the butterfly away and walked on. So God intentionally reveals Himself in so many ways, in so many places and in so many people, some of whom might surprise us. Journeying is a non-profit organisation, and the essence of the holidays that it offers is a moving towards the unexpected. Occasionally, there might be a holiday to a more remote area, and often to places where faith took hold in centuries past through the work and ministry of earlier Christians. Our focus has always been on the UK and Ireland, and enables us to take groups to experience new places, to explore beautiful landscapes and scenery, and to discover God in His creation and in ourselves, which T.S. Eliot expresses very well. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all our exploring will be to arrive back where we started and know the place for the first time. Since 1987, journeying has taken people on holidays with a difference to almost every corner of wild Britain. We always do this in small groups and usually on a self-catering basis, and that encourages an informal family ambience and a feeling of being at home. In other words, holidays with spiritual refreshment in beautiful and often remote areas. Each trip is tailored using the best of our wide experience to create a time away that we believe is unique. On most of our holidays, and we tend to offer between 5 and 9 a year, we stay in one place, using it as a base from which to explore that area. Now and then we may plan 7 nights self-catering in one house, with perhaps a bed and breakfast night at one or both ends of the holiday. It all depends on the area, its location, and how easy the transport is. Of course, there are particular exceptions. Some retreat houses are just right for certain trips. And the twice we've been to St Kilda, we've stayed on board our boat for 3 or 4 nights in Village Bay. Very occasionally, we might plan a classic pilgrimage, where we spend single nights at a sequence of places walking a chosen route. So the permutations are endless, and hence the range of accommodation styles varies greatly. But because walking together is a wonderful way to get to know other people and share stories as well as steps, we usually include walks of some kind or length on most days during the trip. But we do emphasize that everything we do and offer and make space for is optional. We visited about 40 places over the past 25 years or so, and in each 2-year slot we would include holidays in each of England, Scotland, Wales and even Ireland. We tend to go to locations that offer a wide variety of experiences, and since we have an underlying Celtic spirituality threaded through all we do and wherever we go, there are some places that are obvious to choose, British sites of pilgrimage. But on the other hand, many of our destinations have no overt links with Celtic Christianity at all. There never was, for example, a St Kilda. As far as we know, there were never any Celtic saints living in Orkney or on the slopes of Cadair Idris. Our journeys offer a holiday with spiritual refreshment, with Celtic spirituality woven through all that we do, in the worship and rhythm of the day. And in the informal atmosphere that we create, we make community and experience hospitality and see God in all things. One way in which we can do this is by enfolding each day in worship. So for a time each morning, we would have a short time of prayer to set us up for the day ahead. In the evening after our meal, there's the opportunity for a slightly longer period of reflective worship and prayer and readings. And of course there are other moments too in the day that cry out for a pause and a silence. It might be by a river, a cairn, a wood, by a stunning view, in a quiet church or a wood. Places where we cannot help but utter a soundless wow of awe and gratitude. Though we're a Christian organisation, and perhaps because of it too, we welcome people of all traditions, of all faiths and of none. All our leaders are volunteers who have experience of the destination, sometimes with a very intimate connection to the place. Such inner knowledge of an area and the walks, the accommodation and the area's history is vital in any holiday that aims to give people the security of discovering places they'd never dream of travelling to alone, but can trust leaders who know a place inside out. But what marks us out further is that we do all this in this spiritual ambience, and so our experience means that we seek to lead groups which gel together rather than to gather together a collection of individuals. And this is reflected in the high number of returning guests who travel with us again and again. what we offer is clearly right for them, and we hope it may be so for others as well in the future.